Hello, and welcome back to another pen talk. Thank you very much for joining me as I explore this unbelievable, amazing, diverse, wide world of pens. And yes, we see one in a box, in a wooden box. A pen friend of mine, pen pal and viewer, sent me this pen. I was quite surprised when I received the package and opened it up and saw what it was. It's a pen he had bought a few months ago, hadn't inked it up, and because of an experience that I had in a video a bit ago, he decided that this pen would be a good pen for me to look at. Nice wooden box, cover slides off, and we'll see, oh, a stabilized wood pen. Certainly more colorful than the red one. Separate converter here, and it should be a giveaway. So let's take the cap off. Same amount of turns, like 1.5 or so, and we'll see an actual Jinhao nib. Nice two-tone nib. It's in fine. Jinhao feed on the other side. So the ergonomics are the same as the red pen, but this is appears to be official Jinhao. I got a nice new ink in mind. Let's ink it up and put some nib to paper. So this is the AliExpress listing, I think, for this pen. You can compare how the pen looks in the listing to the actual pen. And I was remiss, there's this velvet pouch that was in that wooden box also. First, let's compare these two pens. The generic stabilized wood with what appears to be a Jinhao stabilized wood. There is quite a difference. This has definitely more color in it and more variety. This one definitely looks more like a wood grain, just stained one color. So both the original owner and I felt that this has kind of like a burl wood look to it. So let's bring in a burl wood pen, one that I very much enjoy. And there is some resemblance. You can see some of the swirls and knots and variety. One thing about wood is every piece is going to be slightly different. That's what makes it, to me, an interesting material. It's a very simple pen with not many parts to it, but I wanted to remove the nib assembly just to see that it is a branded Jinhao nib assembly with that nice chariot on there. And if we compare it to the generic nib that was in my other stabilized wood pen, you'll see they are not at all compatible. Much different. The threading on here is more like, you know, your Bach threading than it is like the Jinhao threading. But we do have a branded converter. And the sections are pretty much almost identical, except the fact that that threading in there is different inside to accommodate the different nib assembly. It's strange that they did that. And as we can see, this threads right on. Yes, you could recognize at least that part of the pen. Wow, look at that. This brass piece came out of the section. My guess is it's usually glued in place, but you can see it's just threaded in there. I'm going to clean that up and I'll put a little bit of shellac glue there just to hold it in place. I always like putting a new ink in a new pen. This is my only Dominant Industry ink, which I got when I bought the B pen. I don't know what that is pronounced like. It's a Severite. But it's a nice bottle, very attractive, and as we see in the paper towel, a nice teal color. There seems to be some blue edging there. Interesting to see how it works in the nib. So it's interesting to write with this pen. The fine nib is a fair amount of feedback. It's much different writing than the generic nib in the other stabilized wood pen. Decent wet flow. The Dominant Industries ink works pretty well. Both pens, the nib stays fairly wet over a number of days, which is good. I expected that because of the plastic liner in the cap. So let's explore these two pens together. So if I had to choose one of these two nibs, I would go with the generic fine nib. It's smoother. I think it's a little bit more consistent writer. Certainly the same type of wetness. I would put the inks as about the same wetness, so I don't see them as being a deciding factor in how these pens write. I was surprised at that. I expected better from the Jinhao nib. So I've reached the conclusion of this video review. I just wanted to share with you the amazing variations in this interesting pen. I highly recommend this pen because it feels good in the hand. It's a great size for my hand, which is on the large size of medium, but it just feels good. You know, the converter works well as one would expect, and I feel this pen would have a long life. We've had some cracking issues with other pens, but for some reason with a stabilized wood pen like this, I would expect it to be very stable over time. So with that, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, enjoying your life, enjoying some ink experiences. I certainly do. So with that, we're going to say this is the end, and we will say bye. We got some interesting pens coming up. Stay tuned.